All right, everyone. So as we lay down on the floor, I want us to start to relax. And I want us to really ask ourselves what that word means to us this morning. So while we're laying here, are we relaxing our body? Do we feel heavy and weightless on the ground? Or are we fidgeting and tense and nervous? Are we relaxing our mind? Allowing all of those other things that we have to think about and have to do to just float on past. Whether you're imagining these thoughts in bubbles that are drifting away, or like a previous session we've done together, picturing all of those worries and stressors like logs floating in a river. Some of us like to imagine all of the thoughts, our to-do lists, anything that's bothering us, to just look like clouds in the sky. And as we're laying here, laying on our back, we can imagine laying on a beach or laying in the grass. And we're looking up, watching these clouds just float past. They're not important right now. They're there, we acknowledge them. And instead, as we relax our mind and relax the body, we start to focus on our breathing. Breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the nose. Let's reach those arms long up over our head now, taking that big stretch. We may notice that our backs peel up off the ground or that the rib cage opens up. Feeling like we're really becoming relaxed. Maybe feeling calm, feeling happy. Go ahead and relax those arms down by our sides now. We'll take our feet flat onto the ground, coming into our glute bridges. With our arms by our sides, we activate those abdominal muscles and lift our hips all the way up to the ceiling. Big stretch here. And exhale, slowly lower down. We'll do this a few times. Inhale, lift through the hips, activating the glutes. And exhale, release. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, lower down. One more time. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Taking our hands now to the side of our head, we'll activate our abdominal muscles. Slight tuck of the chin as we inhale, lift the head and shoulders off the mat. Exhale, slowly lower. Do this a few times. Inhale, lift the hips up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift. Nice and slow. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down one more time. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, release. Slowly working our way over onto our side. We'll come up to our tabletop position. Now in tabletop, we'll make sure that our hands are right underneath our shoulders and our knees are directly underneath our hips. Really nice flat backs, pulling our bellies in, long necks. Taking our right hand directly in front of the shoulder, we press that left leg back behind us and slowly lower. Inhale, left arm, right leg. Exhale, down. Inhale, right. Let's see how stable we can be. Exhale, lower. Inhale, left. How's our balance today? Exhale. Inhale, right. Exhale, lower. And last time, inhaling left. Exhale, down. Holding tabletop, finding our cows and cats. We inhale, open the chest, look forward. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, ground the back. Inhale, open. Exhale, round. Pull those bellies in. Inhale, open. Exhale, round. Last time, inhale, open. Exhale, round. Really nice and high. Finding tabletop. Pressing back in through child's pose. Sinking the hips low into the heels. Extend those arms. Relax the head. I want us to feel the stretch. Where do we feel it? Is it in the shoulders, the backs, the hips, the knees? Maybe it's in an unusual spot. Maybe the feet are really stretching if we've been in our boots lately. With all that snow outside, taking advantage of the weather, we want to just stretch those ankles if they've been in our boots. Taking our modified flow series next, we'll inhale forward into kneeling plank, shoulders stacked on top of wrists. Exhale, hover into your baby crocodile. Inhale, press straight up into your kneeling plank. Exhale, pushing back into child's pose. We'll do this 3 more times. Inhale, forward. Exhale, hover. Inhale, press straight up. Exhale, push back. Inhale, forward. Exhale, hover, elbows brushing rib cage. Inhale, press straight up, bellies in. Exhale, push back. 1 more time. Inhale, forward. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, press back. From child's pose, we'll come forward through tabletop, sweeping our right foot up into runner's lunge. Take your knee right on top of your ankle. Now lifting ourselves up, if we've got the balance or feel like we can today, we're opening up this left hip. When we're ready, the arms can come up above our head, really opening our shoulders, or down through heart center. Regardless of the position we've chosen, let's be strong. How is our posture today? Are we feeling like we're holding it rounded, or have we really opened up those shoulders and pulled them together in the back? Taking our last inhale, exhale, release the hands down, and now take our hips and just rock them back. So some of us may be able to straighten out the leg, some of us won't. This feeling that we're feeling behind our knee is our hamstring stretching. We may be able to pull the toe up, keeping our backs nice and flat. Now, if we notice that it's just way too intense today, that's when we'll start to walk up and just come up a little bit higher, trying to still straighten out the leg, but leave a little bit of a bend, keeping our backs really, really flat. Some of us will keep our hands down, some of us will keep them up higher. I want us to breathe into this. This is our first hamstring stretch. Nice and easy here. Good. Take our time rocking forward. We'll sweep that knee back behind us. Take our left foot forward, knee above ankle, however we need to get it there. Make sure we're good alignment. Always build our buildings from the foundation up. Now, as we increase the stretch through that right hip by bending forward slightly, we'll lift our arms up, either holding them tall above the head or down through heart center. If the hands are still on the floor, just making sure that we're not leaning into the hip. We're still lifting our bellies up and away from that thigh. We're holding runner's lunge, opening up our hip, noticing our balance, checking in with our breathing. That's a slow inhale and a slow exhale. And then we'll release our arms down. We'll start that hamstring stretch again. We just rock the hips back until you feel a stretch. It may be a lot, it may be a little, and maybe you just want to stay down here with a little bend in your knee. Otherwise, we'll walk the hands back a little bit farther, maybe pull those toes up, flexing, getting a little bit of a calf stretch perhaps. Let's be mindful that shoulders and hips both face the floor. We haven't all of a sudden twisted open. We still want our belly button to face that knee. And if anybody needs to, you can come up higher. Okay, let's hold this. Slow your breathing so that we don't feel all of a sudden that we're being attacked or we have to go on the defense. We want to enjoy the stretch. We feel it. It's not painful. All right, rocking forward. Sweeping that knee back behind us, pressing back into child's pose again. See if we can get a little bit lower now that we've started working in through those hips. Preparing to stretch our hamstrings and calves again. We curl the toes and lift up into down dog. Now, right away in down dog, you may feel your shoulders, you may feel your backs, you may feel the legs. Once we've got our hands in position, shoulder width distance apart, fingers are spread, really want to pull those shoulders down our backs, looking back at our feet. Our feet are placed roughly hips width distance apart, so as wide as one of your running shoes in between your feet. So just imagine you've got one of your shoes right in between your 2 feet. And then we'll start to walk the dog, right foot to left foot, right foot to left foot. Good. Feels so good, especially as I said before, if we've been wearing winter boots, or if we've been even just sitting in our house at our computer all day, maybe we're noticing that the feet aren't getting a lot done. This is going to help really send some blood, work through those stiff feet. Let's come forward now into plank. And from plank, we slowly chaturanga lower, all the way down. Scooping up for cobra. Maybe it's a baby the first time we do it. Pulling those shoulders together. We'll press back into down dog or child's pose. And we'll do that flow 2 more times. This is our half series. Inhale, forward to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. That's controlled. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, press back, down dog. 1 more time. Inhaling forward through plank. Reminder, we can take our knees to the ground as we chaturanga slow lower. Inhale, scoop up, cobra. And exhale, push back, down dog, or child's pose if you're substituting it today. Take your time walking hands and feet all the way together. Coming up halfway into monkey. Pull those shoulders together, really flat back. See how flat you can have that back today. Belly buttons pull in. Knees are a little bit soft. What we want to really focus on is not allowing this to happen. We don't like this shoulder posture. We want to pull that together, straighten out the back. See how tall we can be. Now sitting through our hips into chair. Let's reach those arms up. See how my hands are reaching towards where my ceiling and my wall meet? Really nice and high. Let's see if we can do that today. Opening the chest, pulling those shoulders back, wiggling those toes. Make sure the weight's back in your heels. And now on our next inhale, let's reach our hands all the way up. And exhale, release. Very nice. Taking a drink of water if we need one. We're going to stack ourselves right up at the top of our mat. I'll turn my mat so I face front. Make sure we're happy and comfortable with where our mat's positioned. Stepping to the very top edge, we're holding ourselves in mountain pose, Tadasana. Feet are hips width distance apart. Let's roll those shoulders down. Spread the fingers, palms facing front. Now there's a little knee bend, so we're not locked. Little knee bend, feeling really strong through the legs. We'll start with a lateral extension. We want our right arm to reach all the way up nice and high. And then if you've got a ceiling in the way, you step forward and we reach that arm even higher. Taking that left arm, just reach it down to the ground a little bit more. Big stretch all the way here. Big inhale, lift our arms up. And then right arm comes down as we lift that left arm even higher. We think less about bending to the right side, more about lifting out of the left side. Inhale, lift both arms up. Now I want us to soften the knees. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. So hands can come down onto the ground, or they can hold our legs, or they can hold ragdoll. So it's just either elbow. Stretching the hamstrings, letting go of any tension from the neck. I find it helps to shake the head no, and we can even nod the head yes. Now while we're down here, we're going to bend the knees, step the left foot back, reach the arms all the way tall into crescent lunge. Now we're bending into your right knee. We're just on those tippy toes in that left foot, really straightening out that leg. So squeeze the left leg muscles as we reach tall. Shoulders are down. Stomach is zipped. We can look forward if that helps our balance, or we can try to close our eyes today. From crescent lunge, I want us to feel very strong, very powerful, very stable. We'll open up into warrior two. We turn the back foot to place the heel on the ground, and we bend deeper into that right knee. Heels are on the same line. Arms are stacked on top. Arms are strong. Pull those bellies in. Push that knee back. Very nice. We're coming down into side angle, stretching that left side body as we bend the right elbow onto the thigh. Remember, it's not leaning, it's just there, really strong 90 degrees. I always imagine in this hand that's on the bottom, I'm holding a plate of grapes. The grapes, I don't want them to roll off, so I don't want to dip the hand, I don't want to fall or be unstable. Really strong with that arm. This top arm is reaching to the ceiling, helping that stretch as we continue bending forward into our right knee. From our side angle, I want us to take a big inhale, lift ourselves up, straighten out that leg, prepare for triangle. Reach forward, reach towards me with that right hand. When there's nowhere left to go, we swivel the arms around. That left hand comes back up to the ceiling. Right hand is now reaching towards the floor. Try not to tip forward with that left shoulder. Stack the left shoulder on top of your right. Keep that knee opening up. The leg is straight. The arms are straight. Take a big inhale, lift ourselves up, and we're going to waterfall all the way down. From here, we find plank position. Can you find plank? Plank is very strong, hands and toes. From plank, I'm going to ask that we press back into down dog or child's pose. Open up those shoulders in the back. All right, now taking our time, we look up between our hands and we step our left foot forward. So now our left knee is on top of our ankle. Crescent lunge. When you're ready, we lift our arms up, bend into that left knee, straighten out that right leg, really strong and powerful as we rock onto just the tippy toes of that right foot. Now, this side is different from the right. It may feel different. So find your balance, square your shoulders and your hips to face the same direction as your left knee and toes. Hold it here. Maybe some of us have chosen to close our eyes, or maybe not. Let's get ready to open up into warrior two. We turn to the side. We're going to bend into that left knee. Roll those shoulders down, really powerful here. This is an amazing stretch across the hips. We're putting ourselves into a position where we have to be quite strong. And yet we're open. We're working on that range of motion. Continuing to open this left hip, we'll bend down with our left elbow, taking that right arm up nice and high. Now remember, we're not leaning into this left shoulder at all, okay? We don't lean. So we wanna lift up, hold that plate of grapes as we open that right arm. Inhale, lifting up into our warrior two. Let's get ready to take ourselves down to triangle. We straighten out that leg, make sure there's a little micro bend in the knee. Reach forward, 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 try to hold my hand, and then sweep the arm down. And the top arm is reaching high to the sky. Double check that you're not white knuckling or really gripping that leg. We're just ever so lightly touching that bottom leg, wherever it might be. Feeling a really good stretch in that inner thigh. Take one big inhale, lift up. Softening the knee as we waterfall. Let's see how controlled we can be as we waterfall down, finding plank position. Try not to break the neck alignment. We keep the eyes looking forward of the fingers. And when you're ready from plank, we'll press back into down dog or child's pose. From here, we look up between our hands, step the right foot forward again. Lift up and through crescent lunge when you're ready. That's a quick transition. From our crescent lunge, we're going to open up into warrior two. Right foot is front. Taking our side angle again. I want us to bring that right elbow down, take that left arm up. Now watch the change. You're going to take your left arm behind your back. Turn to the side a little bit so you can see this. See how your left hand is coming behind your back now? That right elbow that we're leaning into, I want you to see if you can straighten it out and reach towards the floor. Now from here, some of us, we may be able to scoop that arm underneath and tie our hands together. Some of us will keep the arm straight. Some of us will keep out elbow on the knee. Others, we may be able to come into what's called bound side angle or tied side angle. And if anyone's interested, from side angle, we straighten out that leg, coming into triangle or bound triangle. This is a great stretch for those shoulders and triceps. Slowly, we're going to all soften our knees again. Lift ourselves up through warrior two. Woo! Spiral all the way down. Oh, those legs got a big stretch. Coming back into down dog or child. Take a breath. If you are able to come into the bound work, we're probably feeling a lot of sensation in those hips right now. Taking our time, we're going to be repeating that on the second side. With our left foot coming up, we find crescent lunge, shoulders down. We establish our crescent lunge with our left foot forward first. Make sure that you're feeling all the strength, all the control. Open up into warrior two. Heels are on the same line, arms are stacked on top, knees are open. Finding side angle. Left elbow comes down, right arm comes up. This time I'll do it from the front so you can see a different angle. Taking that top arm, bring it behind your back. The hand that's on the knee, we straighten it towards the floor. Now, anyone who wants to tie it, we scoop it and try to tie our hands together. Really cool stretch. Bound side angle. Some of us will be able to do it quite easily and will love it. Others will think, this is just not the pose for me. Remember, we listen to our body. Now, if you're in bound side angle and you'd like to try it, we straighten out the legs, coming into bound triangle. Keep the shoulders open. We don't want them rounding forward. And remember, we only do the positions that feel good for our body. This is our bound triangle. Slowly softening the leg. Untie the arms as we lift ourselves up. Slow rotation down. Back into plank and then through into down dog or child's pose. Now from down dog or child's pose, we will be coming through our three-legged dog series, starting with mountain lion, coming forward into pigeon. We take our right foot nice and high to the sky. Bend the knee. Open up into three-legged dog. Some of us will stay here. Try to drop that left heel down towards the floor. Now, staying here in open three-legged dog or joining knee, taking the toe down towards the floor and the arm up to the ceiling. This is a great stretch for that left shoulder as we're supporting it in an open position. Lifting those hips up. When you're ready, we reverse into three-legged dog and then position ourselves forward into pigeon. So the right heel is up towards your left hand. The right knee is up towards your right hand. Both legs are comfortable on the mat. We feel very good about our position, and we can come down onto our forearms. We can stay high on our hands, or my personal favorite, stacking forehead on top of my hands. Let's take this opportunity to really slow down.
Let's find a couple really big stretches as we try to open up through the outside of that right hip.
Getting ready to repeat this sequence with the other leg. We'll come up onto our hands. Sweep back into down dog or child's pose when we're ready.
Now, if you're joining me in the three-legged dog
sequence, we're going to now lift our left foot, or whichever foot we haven't done yet, up to the sky, whether it's bent or straight. We'll bend it now, opening up to open three-legged dog. Just trying to get that knee up towards the ceiling as we open that right hip. Check that your right heel is trying to come down to the floor, an extra calf stretch. And for those of us interested in mountain lion, we try to rotate that heel down and we lift our arm up. Make sure it's right up high to the sky. We're supporting ourselves on a really strong, what is this now? Our right arm, lifting that up, feeling very strong. And we slowly reverse that, trying to find that three-legged dog again to come forward into pigeon, kicking our left foot up towards that right wrist. The left knee lands somewhere near our left wrist. Then we push that right leg back behind us, supporting ourselves on our knees and our feet. Try to stay off of the hips. And when we're ready, we can stay on our hands, come down onto our elbows, or come down onto your hands, all the way with the forehead. Stretching into that left hip this time. Slow the breathing. And we'll slowly come back up. Finding our last down dog. If we're in down dog, you can pedal the feet out if you'd prefer, walking in place, or we can hold, trying to get those heels down to the ground. Now we'll all meet in tabletop, bringing those knees back under our hips, flatten out the toes, hands are right underneath of our shoulders. Nice flat backs as we pull the bellies in. Make sure we're not winging the shoulders, but pressing away from our hands. Really strong through the shoulders here. We'll find ourselves coming into thread the needle. An amazing stretch for those shoulders. We inhale, lift that right arm high. Exhale, thread underneath the body. Relate into our right ear. Good, and we can take that left hand that we're not really sure what to do with. We can extend it over. Some of us will prefer to lift it all the way up to the sky, finding a good place for it while we stretch that right shoulder out. Take our time. We're going to come up through the middle. Make sure you start with a good foundation, then open that left arm high to the ceiling, thread it all the way underneath. Once we find a good stretch, we can reach that right arm forward. Take our time coming up. And then press back to child. Notice if we can get a little bit lower into child's pose this time, really stretching out those arms, sinking down into those hips. We're slowing down our breathing. And then we'll reach ourselves up and over onto our backs. Now, as we reposition ourselves onto our backs again, I want to make sure that you're comfortable in your space. I'm just going to adjust my mat while we get down there. So laying on our backs, finding a couple of deep breaths while we do so. We're going to prepare for our shoulder stand. And how we prepare for our shoulder stand is taking our glute bridges as our preparation. So we'll walk our feet in nice and close to the body, taking our arms down right by our side. Now roll the shoulders into the mat as we lengthen the neck. We want to make sure we're not staring right up behind us to the back wall, but slight tuck of the chin so that we can look forward a bit. Now when we lift our hips up, we inhale. And we'll do this a few times. Exhale to lower, just like our warm-up. Inhale, lifting up. Maybe getting a little bit higher. Exhale, lower down. One more time as we inhale, lift up, which we'll be holding. Now, while we hold this, some of us may choose to stay here. The next addition would be threading the fingers, coming up higher onto the shoulders as we lift our hips up. The final addition will be then taking your hands and placing them right on the lower back. See how my elbows are tucked right underneath me? We walk our toes in up onto the tippy toes, kicking one knee at a time. We're not jumping or rolling or hoping. We're placing our hands, elbows are on the ground. Great work for our shoulders and triceps. We're going to stay here. If anyone's inclined to do so, we can lift our legs straight to the ceiling. Now see when you're up here, if you've got a mirror or you can see your video, you can get your legs straight to the ceiling. Keep your hands under your back. In yoga, we always make sure we're really safe. So we'll keep our necks long, we're resting on our shoulders. And if anyone wants to take plow position, we then straighten the legs, placing the toes up above the head. Still with your hands underneath of us. Nice big stretch. Whichever position we've chosen, remember we can come out of it whenever we want to. Now the proper exit, which you all know I'm very, very strict about. We'll see if we can take those legs from plow, if they were there, back up into shoulder stand, candlestick. If they're in candlestick, we bend the knees, still supporting our lower backs into the chest. And then we can take one foot at a time, matrix style, nice and slow, down to the floor, still supporting our hands under our back. Then we slowly lower. Always controlled. Let's bring the knees into our chest. Give yourself a really big hug. As we hug the knees into the chest, just rock side to side. Massage out the lower backs. Notice what that feels like. Taking our time, we'll bring both feet down to the ground. Arms come out to the side. Take both knees and let them drop over to the right side into spinal twist. Now most of us will choose to take our hand, grab a hold of that top leg and just straighten the leg out a little bit. Add a little extra help as you stretch open that left side. We'll take our time, bringing the knees up to the ceiling again. And now drop the knees over towards the left. We can use that free hand to hold that top leg and look over that right shoulder. Slowly lift the knees up. Getting ready to take butterfly. Feet are on the ground, our knees open nice and wide. Hands can come on top of the lower bellies, or we can have them resting down to the floor. Notice if your backs are peeling up off the ground, that's okay. In this position, as we open up through the hips, it's okay to feel your abdominal muscles relax as your hips open and the lower back may peel up off the ground. I want us to stay here for a couple of big breaths. At this point, we can close our eyes if we haven't already. And slowly, we'll take our hands to the outside of those knees and just bring the legs back in together. Some of us may want to bring the knees into the chest again. Give ourselves one final big hug, maybe rocking side to side, maybe not. And we'll take our feet down to the floor and come into our Shavasana position. Some of us may keep our knees bent. For the most part though, we're going to straighten out those legs, allowing the feet to fall open. Arms can come down by our sides or can rest comfortably on the belly. Some of us like to hold onto our heart as well. It's a really nice way to make sure that we're feeling steady heartbeats as we feel the stomach rise and drop with each breath. Staying in our Shavasana position, I'll invite us all to start closing our eyes. We're going to finish our yoga practice today with our meditation. So having figured out where we're most comfortable now, I want us to stop fidgeting. I know that can be hard. Giving ourselves permission, however, to just relax. That word that we were really holding on to as we began our practice together, relax. Are we relaxed? What does relaxation mean to you? It's important to give ourselves a break, to focus on our breathing, and allow everything to come into better focus. To slow down and take a step back, maybe giving new perspective. Opening our eyes, opening our hearts. Whatever relaxing means to us right now, I want us to imagine we're in a place that allows us to relax. Maybe it's our favorite park, our favorite beach. Maybe it's a vacation. Imagine we're there right now, relaxing. Nothing to do, nowhere to be. The most important thing on our mind right now is our breathing. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. Feeling the body melting into that surface, whether it's sand or grass or a towel on the pool deck. We're not scrunching our eyes, instead our face is quite relaxed. If the tongue is stuck to the roof of our mouth, try to unpeel it and let it fall into the base of our jaw. Notice how we're feeling at this very moment. And taking a moment to thank ourselves for doing our practice this morning, taking care of our body, for taking care of our mind, and for taking care of our heart, doing it together. Let's start to wiggle those fingers and toes, maybe drawing our wrists and ankles in little circles. Feeling like a whole new person after all of those big open stretches. We can take those knees into the chest again for one final big hug. Feeling both open and strong, powerful and relaxed, re-energized. on our time, however long it takes. Let's get into that final resting pose. Whether it's lotus, crisscross applesauce, as long as we're able to sit up really nice and tall, rolling those shoulders down, we can rest our hands right on top of those knees. Maybe we're still closing our eyes as we take those final couple of breaths together. And I know we've all thanked ourselves, so now it's my turn to say thank you. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for paying such excellent attention to yourself. We're going to say that final goodbye with our hands coming up to prayer with our inhale. Exhale, coming down through heart center. Namaste.